to Diabetes Rescued by Keto Fans and Carnivore Fans. Bill here, got a video today, going to be going through some stuff. I am going to have some notes. I'm trying to do kind of like two things all at once and cram it in here and then still try and get it in on time and entertain you. I am going to give the disclaimer. If you are opposed to my type of irreverence and satire, please tune out and go on and move off to something else, because there might be some of that here today. If you are inclined to comment in some sort of a negative way towards me and, well, I got thrown off of Beatdown and bludgeoned because of this, that, or whatever, save it. Please save it. I welcome you to go ahead and make yourself a YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel, or open a YouTube channel, make a YouTube video, tag me in. I'll be glad to watch it. I'll be glad to listen to everything you have to say. Matter of fact, that would be a huge money-making venture for the B&B to undertake, to do some videos on how many people and what happened to them and what we did to them. that would be sure to generate, I think, lots of interest and lots of viewers. So it was my last video was a bit of a rant. Okay, you can watch it if you want. You know, I got the Right Foot of Fellowship from the Beatdown Bludgeon Forum, the B&B, and they can say whatever they want to say. It's because of how I sharpen my razors. Okay, you can go, you can read the thing. And initially, I was thinking about that thing, and I was thinking, well, you know, the guy that owns this place, you know, God, he must be training, you know, like Admiral here loves my supper. He must be training guys like this to, you know, to be angry and mean and all that kind of stuff. And then I kind of thought about it a little bit and thought about, you know, and in the end, it's all a very, very good thing. Okay. And, because this is what the Badger really is interested in. Okay. And it has to do, and I thought about it because I thought, you know, I looked at the father of the modern day use of, he doesn't call it super curve, but, a shape tone, and largely the person that I bought a lot of supplies from him, and largely the person who I have followed in his techniques with interest. I've done some things on my own, and that's what you should do if you're sharpening razors. But anyhow, he had said, you know, with the drama and all this, he made a video and you know, and then I think on his website he said, you know, there was like 4,000 hits, okay, on this particular thread. Okay, so what that did, that just generated loads and loads of kaching for the B&B. And that is, they need that. Please go over there and feel free to view the thing. Do this because, you know, if you go and you look at it, you might want to go look and see what their membership roll or attendance is at any given time. And, you know, sometimes, you know, 50, 150 people maybe. Okay. And then there's like, you know, there's like usually around 10,000, okay, what they call guests. And I don't know how many of them are robots. So, and it's all about the click, 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 click. So, and one thing I did notice about B&B was how intrusive that I don't think there was any other website I'd ever been on that was quite so intrusive with looking in and what you're doing, where you're going, and just pummeling you with advertising. Okay, and that might be why some of the people amongst other things, why you don't have so many members actually on there at any one time. Because if you do look at the forum statistics, they got like they list almost 100,000 members. Well, why is it, tell me, why is it, okay, if this is so great that they get 50 or 100 people, members actually participating on it, and a lot of them are you know, are going to be your the people who are managing things and having fun, you know, like the Admiral. And you know, the Admiral, he took another little dig at me towards the end, the closing, you know, to kind of justify his action. Maybe he saw my video and saw how critical I was of him, and how much of I think of a lowlife he is. But anyhow, they went so far as they actually changed my screen name to kind of hide that, because I've long used the avatar of Max Headroom. And any of you who have followed or seen the story about Max Headroom and back in the mid '80s, okay, in the story, he was it was a show that was way advanced for its time with its plot, and that he was, you know, projected. Max Headroom was projected as the original artificial intelligent thing. So you can find, if you actually want to see anything in the 2 weeks that I was there, that I wrote, you'll have to look up this Max Curve Super because Super Curve Max, okay, doesn't exist anymore. But anyhow, there was a couple, and I'm going to go ahead and start my shave. Okay, the one thing, and as I'm starting my shave, I'm going to put in there some artificial intelligence. I thought something came up that was really, really funny through the conversation of that. JPO decided to run the debate of, you know, after there was some things said, and, you know, and after I got the toss, he decided to run through AI, the argument. And what you'll have is you'll have a very good argument for both sides, okay, generated entirely by AI, okay? And some of the catchwords, I kind of highlighted them in there, and, you know, so you can kind of look at them. Some of them were mine, you know, so where does AI get that? AI is probably one of the bots in that 10,000 people on that list I showed you that is data mining everything. So when AI hits, the time will come, and you'll be able to, if you want to learn about Super Curve Hung, you'll probably be able to say, you know, hey, ChatGPT, show me, have Max Headroom teach me how to use convex. So it'll probably go and, you know, go to my stuff and pick up stuff from everywhere, and, you know, and there will be no need for the B&B forum. So I'm going to use a straight. I'm going to do some comparisons today. Okay, I'm going to use a straight. This is a River Razors 14. I got this, and in comparison, razors, this is worse than what. I don't want to say worse. Much different, but in the same type of vein where Martin Shaves, who is an online friend here, does these comparisons, and I'm going to do a different comparison, but it's his fault I got this. Okay, now I had been communicating with Boris Duvivier long before I saw Martin get one of these, but Martin got one just like this. He wanted one in the shape of the Palmera 14 or the Philly 14, where traditional type shape razor. And I think he even got the same scale material. I don't know if he still has that razor or not. He's got more. He's got to have a closet full of razors. It's like unbelievable. Anyhow, Boris made me this. This was my first custom razor. Okay, and I wanted to get it from this guy because I thought I knew something. And the reason I'm using this today is in that discussion over at the Beatdown and Bludgeon. I saw it brought up that the maker of this razor had somewhere along the line made some comments. He's tried this now. The last time I communicated with him, okay, was my understanding, and sometimes he tunes in, and Boris, if I'm mistaken, please correct me, but he was experimenting with the use of a shave tones, and he was working on making plates of dimensions according to his very own. I think he was using a singular dimension, a singular curve, rather than a compounded curve like I use. And he did communicate this somewhere where I saw it. I don't know if it was to me or not, but where he had issues with edge maintenance, okay, on stuff that he had honed up with a convex stone. Now, I don't know the situation behind that. I do know this, based on my last conversation with him, he still hones his very own personal razors using a shaped tone. He did not hone this particular one as such. He honed this one on flat stones, and I do believe, and do look him up if you're looking for a custom razor. This piece right here, he'll customize it with colors and scales, and he'll do fancy stuff, or he'll do, you know, more stuff that is traditional in shape, like I wanted. But he can do some of the fancy stuff, beautiful stuff, and he's a skilled craftsman. Okay, this piece has an incredibly fine grind, and I think you know, if he put a bellied hollow in there, it's not that much. You know, I haven't measured it. It's not very super pronounced one, but it is a very thin grind. He does harden to a Rockwell hardness a little bit above what some things do. He'll use some more modern type steels, and I'm bear in mind I'm doing a comparison here, okay? So do look him up. I find that very thin, very precise, very beautiful piece. If you're looking for a custom razor, I can absolutely recommend his work. As the piece that I got was excellent, no complaints, and it was at a considering the work it takes to make one of these things, I deem it a very reasonable price. Now I pulled these razors out here. Most of them have blades in them. And usually if I leave the blade in, it usually means I can probably use it again. I have a little bit of a method for kind of counting the number of uses on a particular blade or a razor or whatever. I don't track it terribly close. So to go back to the River Razors and how the report came out and was gladly published in the thread, and please go look at it. Do help Mr. Badger out, okay? And disable your ad blockers and disable your make sure you let all the trackers come in so we can help with the number of clicks and the pay-per-click and how much the price per click is, and just in interest of the economics of things. And in the interest of economics of things, I want to go back to that razor. Okay. So why was there a failure? And this was not really touched on, but I have generated failures, a fracturing of the edge, okay, where if you are honing and you are putting effort to push the limits of the steel you're working with to the absolute maximum that it can go, okay, you have something. And anybody who's ever taken a piece of metal, thin metal, and bend it back and bend it and bend it and bend it, you can break it. Okay, it's metal, you can break it. Okay, so I have a theory, and I did hone this on my horse side strop. I didn't use the cloth side. Okay, I used the leather on that, I don't use them on razors that I have convex honed, which next time this one comes up, I will convex hone that one. The reason is that it is my theory, and I will use a shaped strop where I have laid a piece of leather on top of a shape. The most I'll go is to flat, because if you have any little bit of a bend from a pressure on this, you're going to get a little bit no matter what. But my theory is that since you have tried to create an edge where you are pushing the absolute limits of the steel and trying to extrude and stretch that out as high as you can go to give you the greatest of cutting efficiency, there is, if you do not know how to handle it, did I get beat up for saying something about not knowing how, not being educated on something or whatever, one of the favorite things. But it is possible that you can begin to work, okay? And it's a theory. I don't have the microscopic evidence and seen it because I don't do it, okay? But I don't have a problem with razors chipping out. Now, in sharpening them, I can make them chip out depending upon which curves I'm putting in, and as I'm pushing it, okay, I can create these little fractures in there that I can see, but then I go ahead and I work those out. So that's why I'm using this. I thought that was a worthwhile thing to say, that, okay, so this stuff goes on, and I guess they didn't really want because there was really only one real person left on that thread to promote the use of the use of a shaved tone. And that's JPO, and he may not have had that particular instance happen to him, or may not have been something that he's experienced yet. With his work. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed the AI stuff. Okay, and I'm going back to my notes because I want to try and get all the stuff in. Okay, and I thought this was interesting. You know, with this kind of stuff, with JPO posting this kind of stuff, it's like I laugh at it because I might be wrong. I don't think JPO is malicious in things he says. I think he's very, very witty, okay, in things he says. And I think, he disagreed with the decision to jettison me. And so somebody had asked the question, somebody had talked about what I call the ancient German grinders handbooks writing. And, you know, there was loads of people who like spitting out, you know, a bunch of crap at that. And somebody said it was maybe for insiders, which his point was that this was writing a training book for people who were in the business of sharpening steel, not necessarily something made to be, you know, 175 years later wind up in shave forums where we could argue about it. Okay, but here's what JPO writes. Okay, and I thought this was really, really funny. Secret Society, his supreme leader is busy shaping his cauticles and selling them at an alarming rate. And that's why I say that this is such a good week, a good thing, okay? Because Joe Badger is making money and he's counting the clicks and he's making money. And Jared is selling a bunch of cauticles that he's shaping that he couldn't sell because they were flat because there just weren't straight razor shavers buying this. Now, I've been tempted many, many times to buy an additional caudicle, okay? And I've looked at them. I don't know if I'll ever eventually do that. I think I have found other ways to get around that. But I thought that was funny that he's, you know, so ka-ching for Jared and ka-ching for Joe Badger, okay? And then here's the other one in there where he dropped this in there. Okay, and they can show up anywhere using hard-to-detect avatar names like Super Curve Max. He was caught early and no longer allowed to post. I thought that is so funny. Okay, and so let me talk about a shave piece once. Okay, and this is something, if I'm going to inflame somebody, I can really inflame somebody at this. I think shaving with this is more difficult than shaving with this. I'll qualify that towards the end, okay, as to why. as to why I say that. And I have written that, okay, and I've got some real hate responses for that. And then when I say something like, you can even get a good shave with one of these, once you learn to practice basics of good technique. And and long before I got into sharpening razors, I was, you know, kind of into a technique kind of guy, learning techniques and stuff like that. And this is why I say that shaving with stuff like this, okay, is more difficult than shaving with this. Now, here's where the qualification is going to come in. It takes longer to learn to shave with a good straight razor or a shavette, okay? The learning curve is more difficult. It's going to take more time to do that. You know, these other things, you can just use them and you can press and you can make a lot of sloppy moves that you can get away with, whereas on a straight razor you can't. And once you learn the straight razor and you learn, and this is why most people who learn straight razors stick with them. Many people, it becomes their only thing that they ever shave with, okay? And I started there, but I wanted to go back because that one tool that I showed you, it's a Gillette new. I got it for free. It's a new, I think it's a new short comb, or I think that's called a new short comb. And people love these things. And I would see people shaving with the long combs and the short combs all the time. And I never had much luck with it. And I moved on and I was shaving with straights for a long time before I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to that. And I'm going to go back to that thing and I'm going to learn how to use that. I'm going to learn how to use that shave piece and manage to try and match the shave that I get with this. This is why most people would object to my saying that this is harder than this. Once you learn to use that, learning to get a shave with one of these that matches one of these, okay, or worse yet, okay, learning to get a shave with one of these that matches this or any of these things, it takes some work, okay? Now you can get closer with these multi-blade things, you can get closer and all that kind of stuff, but to try and get the as good a shave without the irritation like a straight razor can give you is something to learn. It's a skill. It's a, you know, it's why I value all these different types of shaving. It is a manly skill, okay? And that's why I use all these different things because it's not, for me, it's not about what I'm picking up and putting in my hand and shaving with, or whether the edge has been honed on a flat stone or a stone that I have shaped. It's not all that. It's can I learn to use that, okay, to deliver for myself, to make the guy that I look at in the mirror happy with his shave. And that's the goal for me. So Boris was wondering at one time when I would super curve this, and it's like, yeah, when it needs it. It's like, this has such a good hardening and a good edge and a good honing job. It may be quite some time before I feel the need to have this one on my stones. There's also something I liked about this particular razor. I always use close to the heel in moves like that and around here in my shaving style. There are some people that let that go in their honing. I want the whole edge. I want the whole edge to meet. So there's let me move back to my story again, and because I'm getting close to the end of my shave and I gotta close this out. Okay, so JPO, my friend from Norway. Okay, so he's a very intelligent engineer. He had stated that he's been in construction type trades, doing some of the building work and that kind of stuff. I've not talked to him directly. We've exchanged things. We maybe read stuff that each other writes, or he, watch videos or whatever. But anyhow, forgive me if I'm wrong, John. Okay, I think John, being a Norwegian, is a fisherman. Okay, because that guy, he casts the bait, and he's being the fisherman, and he sets the hook, and he's got him reeling in, and he did some reeling, and you are never, ever, ever gonna believe who he got to actually use a bumpy hone or a humped hone. I'll post the thing up on this, okay? And I absolutely love the result on this. That the result comes out let me read it, and you can see it as I'll put it on the screen here. Okay, some conclusions. I could not tell any difference. So here's a guy who uses this really, really rough looking stone of unknown, whatever he says it is. You just don't know. Okay, but he could not tell the difference. So the very first time, okay, that he did what I call super curve honing, okay, he couldn't tell the difference. So is that a negative effect? What if he actually applied himself and actually put some little bit of work into it? And and this guy is even using, okay, and I think I am the first one to use the term back beveling, okay, in the context of cutting into a different area of the bevel and hollowing the bevel. I have heard the term back bevel being used for where you tape the edge and you want to grind an inconsistency off of the spine, which some people really, really hate when somebody does that. But they're saving the best part of the razor, the edge, and they're trying to level the spine out a little bit. I've heard that term used as back beveling there. But we see this guy actually even using the term, and I don't know if I did, but in some of his writings. So in his honor, okay, he is now going to be known as, because even on his own style with his own rock, and I did this and I did that, and he puts his orange tape, his captain tape, put a piece of tape on it, jumping to conclusions, moving ahead, okay, So he will be known as Captain Curve, number 56, the newest promoter at the B&B for those bumpy hones, the newest member of the rabid minority. So, you know, I you know, another thing, you know, I see, better get going with my shave here. So another thing I saw was after Captain Curve number 56 does his first super curve honing, then he reads the Ancient German Grinders Handbook on how to do that. That being one of the things that was so criticized for me bringing up. But it was hated in that I brought it up because it took away one of the arguments against the super curve honing style, and that there's no basis, no historic. This is, you know, people have been flattening their stone for hundreds of years. No, they haven't been flattening their stones for years. Here's the evidence. Okay, so I'm cheating here. I'm totally cheating. I'll tell you why I'm cheating. You know, I'm not with this shave gonna be able to prove, okay, that you can match this shave with this shave, because I've gone through all this stuff, and the last razor I used was the razor that prompted me to. I've been straight razor shaving for a little while. I'd started accumulating some razors, and then I got one of these, okay. And then when I got a Feather DX and I put a Feather professional super blade in there, I thought, oh, this the ease at which this severs facial hair is incredible. And what I want to do is I want to match the end result that I was getting with that, with a razor that I had sharpened myself. And that's what ultimately put me on the drive to research different honing methods and got me into where I was and took me to where I am, okay? And I've said many, many times, okay? You need to, if you're gonna straight shave, you need to ultimately learn to sharpen your own razors. There's some things found in that. So anyhow, as JPO was reeling in the catch, he got Steve on the hook, and Steve, you know, fish fight. then he reads the German Grinder's Handbook, and you tell me, okay? And then you know, I've said, I mean, I'm not trying to say that Captain Curve number 56 is a sycophant or anything like that, okay? But you're allowed to read and make your own judgment as to what you think of some of the things he writes and some of the things he used to write. And I'm sure there are people who will criticize me for bringing his name up and picking on him. And he and I go back a ways, okay? And don't think for 1 minute. Don't think for 1 minute. Go in and look at where the Admiral who loves his supper, the posts where he is throwing his digs out to position how righteous he was in keeping control of things, even though you can go on the whole board. As far as I know, they haven't taken anything down that I've written, although they have changed my name. And you cannot see me ever once doing the things that he says I did, and you can find him, in fact, doing some of the things that he has accused me of. But anyhow, the Captain Curve, okay, look on those posts from the Admiral, and you'll find the little heart on there. And don't think for 1 minute that I don't know this happens, because I, at one time in another shave forum, somebody tried to draw me into one of these things when, you know, we're doing the beatdown on somebody where you PM and okay. Don't think for 1 minute that as soon as I showed up there, don't think for 1 minute that Captain Curve number 56 did not PM over to the Admiral, because he knows the Admiral, even though this ain't the owner, okay, maybe the Admiral is. So it has been fun. The shave is as I always target, equal with all that stuff. And the point that I wanted to make in all of this, okay, is that one of the good reasons, one of the best reasons for learning to use, my opinion now, for learning to use one of these tools, an OpenEdge tool, is because when you learn this and you go to the trouble, it's longer, and you go to the trouble to master this, you learn things in terms of shaving and feel and angle, and you can learn the principles that I follow: lowest angle, lightest touch, stretch the skin, good soap, good shaving principles. And then you can apply those principles, okay, to the use of all this other stuff, okay? And you can find that you can get much, much better shaves with this stuff, okay? Because you have taken the time and you've learned the manly skill of this. So that's pretty much all I got to say. A little bit longer than usual. It's March the 8th here in the East, where we change our clocks, and a lot of the US where we do that. I don't know why we do that. Anyhow, I hope everybody has a great weekend and a great week. This is Bill, out.